thing I think that helped me when I was younger is that my parents had really clear boundaries as to what they expected of me as a child, I guess, as well as to compliment them that they had given me a lot of freedom. So I was really allowed to do the things that I wanted to do, but I was always really accountable back to them as for what my actions were, so it really helped me to be able to make my own decisions and be responsible for my actions, because I knew I had to report back to my parents, and like if something happened, I had to tell them about it, and I had to be responsible for my actions. So I think that really helped me learn to evaluate what I was doing and whether it was something that I really wanted to do and wanted to be responsible for what might happen after the fact. But I really appreciated the fact that they did give me freedom to experiment and be with my friends and do what I wanted to do, and I felt like it was a really fun time for me. That part of my childhood I have a lot of really fond memories from.
I remember in our house when I was growing up that my parents really didn't use alcohol in any great amount. I think, when we had people over or when we went out with other families, that drinking really wasn't a necessary part of socializing. And I think I really got the message just from watching my parents never really using or having a lot of alcohol around, that it wasn't something that important and that necessary. And I think as I got into my teen years, I tended to be the one that was the designated driver. I was the one that kind of sat out in the parties. I probably didn't. I was probably seen as the one not engaging, not being, as much fun at the parties. But I think that helped me to get through that time without, any real incidents. I think I got the message that, you didn't have to drink to have fun, that it's okay. And I even see with my kids now that when we're at a party with other families, or, Christmas or New Year's or whatever, and lots of the other adults are drinking, that to me it sends a message to the kids that you have to drink to have fun, and the more you drink the better. And I think kids really watch their parents and other adults, and really they see this is what it's about to be an adult. When you're able to drink, you should. And I think that's not a great message to give to kids. We want them to see that you don't have to drink to have fun. The other thing I was thinking about from my preteen years was that my parents had me in a religious program after school twice a week, and at the time I thought, oh, this is I'm the loser of the my regular class, because I have to do this thing. I was the only one from my regular school class that had to go to this thing twice a week. But looking back on it now, it really gave me some good values, some morals to live by that I carried on. And I think it really, having some traditions and some spiritual structure in my life to follow, and some of the values that it taught really kind of sat well with me through my teen years. It gave me something to fall back on, a set of values and ideas of ways to live.
One thing that was really important to my family when I was growing up was doing activities together as a family, and they're now my favorite memories as a child were going biking with my family, or going out swimming We used to go to the pool all together on summer evenings, or going skating, because I grew up in Ottawa and we used to go skating on the Rideau Canal on the weekends, or going cross-country skiing. And I now have children who are 6 and 8, and they're getting to be the age when we can do those same sorts of things together as a family, and it's really nice to see them looking forward to doing things together as a family the same way that I used to look forward to having those same sorts of activities.
We always did take a family vacation. We went camping almost every summer, and so that I grew up in a rural area, and so that really expanded my knowledge of the world to go to different places. So that was one thing, and to do that together, I think it really changed the relationships in the family too, because it was a time when you weren't just doing the daily things and the daily routines, you were in a different situation all the time. So that's one thing. Another thing that comes to my mind is that there was a time when my mother really stood up for me in the school system. There was one teacher who was really not treating all of us in the class well at all, and my mother helped me stand up to her. So that was pretty good. Yeah, that's and the other thing I think of, there were some family friends that were really important. We didn't live that close to my cousins, but we had some family friends who were very close, and I think that was really important.
Growing up, I had a set of friends who were they were part of my church's youth group, and they were my best friends, and we hung out all the time, and all of us kind of had the same values, I guess, and we, I think that really prevented me from even wanting to try, some drugs or go drinking and things like that. So I think having those friends is a pretty big help.
I think that the one thing that I remember is when I was younger, my parents always insisted that I get along with my brothers and that my brothers get along with each other, which we thought was really annoying. And we didn't understand why our parents wouldn't let us just fight like all the other kids in the neighborhood. But we were allowed to fight and disagree, but we just were never allowed to really have blown up battles and really let things drag on. They really insisted that we get along. And so now that I'm older, I have really good relationships with my brothers, and they're really close to each other. And I kind of can see what my parents were doing, which was making sure that we would have that close relationship and that we would stay friends. But at the time I thought they were just totally lame and, just these awful parents that made me get along with these annoying younger brothers. But now I'm really glad that they did.
I think one of the things that stands out for me is the parental, the monitoring that went on, and the parental connectedness. So, for example, when I would be out after school or visiting friends, my parents always made sure they knew where I was, or I would have to phone home and let them know, or if I was running late. And also just so they would know who we were hanging out with, where we were at all times for safety. And also really making sure we were connected with the family. So we were always, at that time it felt like we were being dragged, but we were always, we were a pretty close-knit family with all our relatives, our cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody. So there were a lot of family events when I was growing up. So really being a part of that, making sure I was there, and to this day, it's still a huge part of our family, and now I can see the importance of family, and something I would like to pass on as well, because I think that's one of the big things that helped to shape me and to be the person I am.